So Nancy, let's start out. What is behavioral finance, or sometimes also referred to as behavioral economics?
What it really is the study of some of the biases or tendencies or heuristics that we consciously or often subconsciously use when we are making decisions, including finance, life patterns, and they sometimes can really influence us in ways that we're not quite as objective as we want to be. And in its purest form, anchoring is when we tend to make a decision based on the first piece of information available. A couple years ago, I was working with a couple. They were in their 40s. They were both professionals, so they were in a good financial position. But they came in one morning and they introduced that they had had a conflict on the way over. The husband had just bought a brand new iPad, top of the line, and his wife was very concerned about making that purchase. And as we talked a little bit more about it, the husband was saying, well, it's no big deal. He said, just this morning, I got the quarterly statement for my 401k. We are in good financial position. He was anchored from a sense of abundance. Mm-hmm. She then said, hey, but this morning I opened up the bill from the emergency room visit at the hospital for one of their kids. And there's some costs that aren't going to be covered by insurance. So she was coming from a model of scarcity. And so we might ask, is it okay that he buy the iPad? I don't know, but it shouldn't be anchored by that abundance of a 401k or the scarcity of some uncovered medical costs. Sometimes our past decision-making can create an anchor for future decision-making, so that we might fall into a particular pattern that we call arbitrary coherence, where past decisions can create the set points for which we judge value and worth, and it can almost become automatic and not examined.
So good to have these conversations, especially with a partner, to really understand, I'll call it, for lack of better words, like your money personality, right? And how you grow up and understand that, because it's probably different from your partners. And I know my husband and I have spent some time figuring out what ours are, and then trying to kind of connect dots and see how we can merge those and both flex. So what else can we do to avoid allowing these biases to inappropriately impact our financial decision making?
Really question, like a pattern of behavior that made sense at one point in life may not make sense at different points in life. Our spending patterns pre-kids may have worked well pre-kids. They may be different during kids. They may be different after kids. They may be different old. There's different phases of life.
Before we finish up, I would love it if you have any book recommendations.
I have two that I wanted to point out. One that's is called Predictably Irrational: The Hidden Forces That Shape Our Decisions. It's by a man, Dan Ariely, and it's a really, really easy read. I have the Audible version and have listened to it multiple times, and it really does identify a lot of those biases that we have. But for those that really want to dig deep into this, there's a book called Thinking Fast and Slow by a gentleman, Daniel Kahneman. And he actually won the Nobel Prize for his work in behavioral economics. And I'm just in awe of this man.